Scores 2 against 2. And here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen and señores y señoras. It is the final game, it's the fifth game, it is the ace match, it is the showdown of the Protoss and the Terran Power Nations. So we have this time Jimpo spawning as the blue Terran player. So on the left side here on the scrap station at position number 1, numero uno, and on spawning position number 2 we have Elfi as the red Protoss player. So it is a PvT, and since a recent game on a land far away where a Swedish guy played against a Korean guy, we knew that of course, especially on Scrap Station, mech is more than a viable option to go for in a PvT as a Terran player. And maybe this might be the reason why Jimpo decided to play on Scrap Station. They already played on Lost Temple, and Jimpo was able to take the game on Lost Temple. Elfi, on the other hand, was able to take the game on Blistering Sands, on Jungle Basin, and Lost Temple and Metalopolis, where we had the macro games. This is where Jimpo was able to take the games, and Scrap Station is now the map. So, of course, this inappropriate probe tries to be inappropriate, trying to check everything out, and Jimpo's barracks just finished. He finished with a refinery just a couple of seconds ago, now going to mine some Vespine gas. So most likely we will be seeing a factory otherwise, or even a possible tech lab or a reactor on this barracks as soon as this marine is finished. Okay, those two options is what we're having right now, and now the marine is out, the probe of Elfi has to run away, and just a small sneeze. Actually, it's getting kinda cold in here, just will close the window. Be right back, only takes 5 seconds. Okay, it took about 8 seconds, but here I am back again, and Jimpo deciding to go for the reactor on the barracks and then build the factory, so maybe even a Mars Hellion play coming up is a possibility, but Jimpo would have built the factory then directly next to the barracks, so I don't think so. Marine and SCV trying to move out, of course the probe has to run away from those two guys, and it is time for us to open up the production tab. And on the production tab we see that Robo Bay coming up once again, so Elfi really likes his Protoss 111, going for the one gateway, for the one cybernetics core, and the one Robo facility. On the other hand, there we see a bunker finished for Jimpo, and a finishing bunker means what? Yes, he is not sure if he can protect himself from any early pressure, and that's why he's building a bunker, and a bunker always, most of the time, indicates some tech. There we see the starport, and of course starport play is very effective on Scrap Station, because yes, this map has more free open airspace than actually ground, which is covering, because yes, the crab, aka the Scrap Station, is floating around in the Delta Quadrant in a space far away. Oh, I'm sorry, I was not seeing that. I was not fully zoomed out. Once again, sorry for this, and thank you very much, Bogdan. So, what is Elfi doing right now? First Immortal is en route. Let's take a look at the unit counting station. Yes, we see one observer, but only one observer. Personally, I would love to see, after this first Immortal is out, a second observer. He's got enough minerates, enough gas, enough supply, because you need, at least in my opinion, one observer to be safe in your own base, and one observer to scout out what's going on in your base. And always assume that Terran might be able to catch one observer, and then if you actually have no observers left, yeah, you're pretty much doomed. In fact, you're not in the best position at all. And Elfi now going for the fast expansion. Of course, if it will be able to, if he will be able to hold this expansion, he will be in a very good position. On the other hand, and going for the fast expansion is always a risky move, and he needs to scout out what's going on in the base of his opponent. And where is this observer? Let's just, there it was. boom. So the observer just spotted the Raven. As soon as he spotted the Raven, he needs to fly away. Marines already following it, but the observer, I guess, will get out in time, even though the observer moves a little bit slower than the Marines actually do. It's just was able to get barely out of range of the Marines. So this means two things. Jimpo is now aware that Elfi's got a robo facility, and not a robo bay, only a robo facility. On the other hand, with this observer, yes, Jimpo, Elfi knows that Jimpo is still staying on one base, at least for the moment, because yeah, there we see the command center in production. He's got a Raven out, he's got the Marines out, he's got a tank out, that he might be going for some powerful Raven push. Of course, the Raven push, especially on Scrap Station, is very favored by the Terrans to do so in PvT on Scrap Station, but most of the time the Terran player not decide to go for the expansion that fast, and he has more Banshees in the mix, but we don't see any Banshees, but instead we see some Blue Flame Hellions, and those Blue Flame Hellions will get dropped right now. And where are the forces of Elfi? They are here at the ramp, and no units in the main base right now. The robotics bay is just producing researching the extended thermal lens upgrade. Now he was not sure. Did he actually spot the Blue Flame Hellions? Why is he moving back now in his base? But he will be prepared against the Blue Flame Hellions. And yes, there he is already. Elfi, Jimpo reacting just good in time, letting all of those Hellions survive. He is pulling back with the Medivac. So Blue Medivac, Blue Flame Hellion Medivac attempt number 1 failed. Not doing any damage at all. It is time for us to check the harvester count, and yes, this Nexus here is up for quite a while, and now of course Elfi needs to split his forces to protect the mineral lines of both the main base and the natural expansion. Meanwhile, what is he doing still? Oh, looks like Jimpo deciding to go for an attack for the next attempt to do some damage, but yes, there is a Colossus in the mineral line. Medivac does not want to drop in the main. He's now flying over to the natural, and will he be able to do some damage there? Not yet, not just yet. Observer was flying around, saw those SCVs here in the natural, so the economic advantage of Blue Flame Helmets coming in. The economic advantage of Elfi not that strong, and they were able to kill at least, I think, 1 probe, and that's about it. So the Blue Flame Hellions here by Jimpo, not that effective, so it is time for us to check the supply. 94 against 94, so they're pretty much even, and in terms of units we see a lot of diversification here by Jimpo, actually having 2 Marauders, 4 Hellions, 2 Medivacs, 1 Viking, 20 Marines, 1 Raven, and 3 Siege Tanks actually, so this is quite a lot. Meanwhile, of course, 2 Immortals and 3 Stalkers, 3 Colossi, in addition to 3 Sentries and 7 Stalkers, is quite a lot as well. So I mean, both are on 2 bases, both are not going for another expansion at the moment. They're just getting more production up, getting more researchers up and running, and at the moment Jimpo only started. I would have thought that the Mariners would have the upgrade a little bit sooner, but he now just started with the combat shield and with the stim pack, so those forces without the stim pack might be even vulnerable to the forces here of Elfi. Elfi is now moving out, trying to protect his mineral lines with 4 cannons, 2 in the main and 2 in the natural. I like this cannon placement. And he's now trying to go for an attack. Not the best decision making in his army positioning, because yes, those 2 Immortals get bullied by the Stalkers, because the Stalkers here happily using their range 6 shooting at the destructible rocks. Meanwhile, the Immortals with a range 5 in the second draw. Here, I want, can I shoot as well, please? And they just are not able to shoot at the destructible rocks. Hopefully he will arrange his units a little bit better. And now the siege tanks by Jimpo are already there. He needs to get his Immortals at the front, maybe get a third or second Immortal. And Jimpo's Raven getting attacked. Pointy Fenstrong was not needed, but all those Vikings, and Jimpo's got quite a lot of Vikings, 7 Vikings already attacking this Colossus. This one Colossus only survived with 45 HP, 54 HP left. One Viking gets taken out. No, not yet. And now Pointy Fenstrong is deployed. Elfi is moving out. Jimpo with all those siege tanks doing so much damage. The Marines now with the stim doing even more damage, and this is absolutely it. And the decision by Elfi to move out was absolutely horrible. I mean, just sacrifice 1 or 2 zealots to scout what's actually going on, but walking in there in the siege tank manner and the siege tank line, and he saw the Raven, he knew that there was no Pointy Fenstrong deployed, so the decision making by Elfi to go for an attack there, I mean, seriously, he was able to get in the finals of this tournament, and then this is absolutely worth this, in my opinion. This is only low diamond niveau. I mean, the army composition is good with the Stalkers, with the Zealots, Sentries, Colossi, Immortals. No question about that, but he knew about all those Vikings in the left and on the right side, and on those small choke areas in the bridge here on Scrap Station. It's so easy for the Vikings to take out all the Colossi, and without the Colossi you're pretty much fucked against those siege tanks. So cannot agree at all with the decision by Elfi to decide to go for an attack anyway. But he's doing a small transition now, going for High Templars as well. There we see the Psionic Storm is researched 40 seconds ago, and Jimpo on the other hand. Oh, now someone is lagging. Oh wait, it's actually Bogdan. And now not anymore. So Jimpo meanwhile was able to float a command center over in there, and made a planetary fortress, so he is safe for the he's safe for the moment, of course, with the missile turrets, with the planetary fortress, but he will have more and more income, and good choice already by Jimpo to land all the mules here in the mineral line. And now Jimpo is moving out, and his force is so impressive. I mean, he's 30 supply ahead, 45 supply ahead right now. Elfi just started with the Nexus here at the center location, but the unit composition for Jimpo is so much more volatile. All those Marines, Marauders, Siege Tanks, Vikings, all those units are high DPS units. All those units are able to do a shit load of damage. So Sensor Tower even built by Jimpo, maybe just wants to play it safe. Yes, he's building another command center, so he will soon be on 4 bases. If he goes for the center location, build a planetary fortress there, or even float over to the hidden expansion here, number 3 on the half island, and build an orbital command there. So 2 Marauders were attacking the cannons. Cannon 1 will most likely survive, because the other cannon friends just are there, and now it is time for Jimpo to go with the slow push, sieging up the siege tanks one by one. And of course Elfi needs to watch out, and this might be the last attack we see here in this tournament for this day, in this game. It is 2-2 Elfi against Jimpo. Final battle might be coming up. There we see the Guardian Shields. Colossi is doing some damage. Mariners and Marauders pulling back to the siege tanks. Some nice placed high Psionic Storms. Even more storms, really, really well placed. And Stalkers actually are able to do quite a lot of damage. More Zealots get warped in. Vikings landing right now. All the siege tanks are dead. And looks like with the help of the Zealots, Elfi might be able to clean this up. He was behind 30 supply. He is still behind quite a lot. But the economy for Jimpo is so much better. He was able to clear this attack up. We don't see any other drops coming up by Jimpo at the moment, but look, he's already macroed up new forces. And with those units being here at the center location, it's not the wisest choice for Jimpo to land here in the center location. And indeed, he is lifting up. He's got 5 SCVs in there, and he wants to go for the base number 3. So supply is 120 for Jimpo. It is a 90 for Elfi, and he's just swapping in more gate units, getting the assimilator here at the center location as